Hello everyone. Today I want to talk a little bit more about some specific numerology that's actually affecting all of us this year. And I have been asked to talk a little bit more about certain numbers. So here we go. Now, many of you are aware that there are some really special number combinations, which are sometimes called master numbers or angel numbers, like 111 or 1111 or 1111. That's four ones. The one I want to focus on today is actually 1111 because it's one I keep seeing this year, and it's one that a lot of people are going to be seeing a lot of, and my guides want us to talk about this. So the most common place to see it is probably on a digital clock, and we've got them everywhere now on all our devices, tablets, it's on your phone, it's on your computer, it's everywhere you look. I actually have a digital clock as well, so I have an extra one in the bedroom. So let's just dive in and have a look at the meaning of 1111, and in particular what it's going to mean for all of us this year when you see it. So 1111 is a really interesting master number. In numerology, we actually call it the pillars of the temple because that's actually what it looks like. When you put two 11s next to each other, it literally looks like two columns, so two pillars, either side of a temple door, for example. You can imagine that shape forming. It's a very sacred number combination, and when you see this combination show up in somebody's numerology chart, it does usually mean that they actually have a really important role to play here on Earth, to do with the spiritual growth of mankind one way or another. Doesn't necessarily mean they're a good person, it just means that the lifetime is a really important and sacred one for some reason. 11 is a number that teaches us to use our intuition as well. It shows us that we can achieve lofty ideals, that we can be bigger, that we can be better. And it shows us the way to illumination as well, to enlightenment. So it can help to open us up to our spirituality, to higher realms, to angels. And you may notice that you see it more when you've actually been working with your angels or talking to your guardian angels. Or conversely, when you haven't been listening to them and they've been trying to get your attention, so you'll start seeing 1111 everywhere. They're trying to hit you over the head with it. So it's important to remember that numbers and number sequences aren't inherently good or bad, but there are light and shadow aspects for each and every single one of them. So when we're balanced, this is the light aspect, the positive aspect of 11. It signifies that we're in tune with our higher self, we can tap into our higher wisdom. But when we're not, 11 can make us oversensitive, temperamental, or a bit flaky. But we always have the potential for growth. 11 is very much a number of wisdom. You've probably heard it called the number of wisdom. And when we add the two digits, the 1 and the 1 together, we get 2. So we normally refer to it in numerology as 11-2. We try to reduce to one digit. So with two 11s, we end up with two 2s, and that gives us a 22 in the equation as well. So this is quite important because 22 is another master number. It's the one that we call the feet of the goddess. It's the master builder, and it brings the possibility to build something new, to create, to grow, to be creative. And it's a very, very powerful number with a strong divine feminine energy. So always a very interesting one to see. Now 22, again, we can reduce down. We add the two 2s together and we get 4. And 4 is actually a very stable number. It's the ground under your feet. It's our very foundation, that which supports us or not. So when you see the number combination 1111 or 1111, there's actually a lot of depth to that. There's a lot more to it than may meet the eye when we're looking at it from a numerology point of view. And you can go even further deeper into it if you want to, but I'm going to stop there for now. So what does it mean when you see this number combination in 2022 specifically this year? Well, first of all, let's take a quick look at the numerology of 2022 so we know what we're dealing with the actual numerology of the year, and we'll go from there. So first off, we have two 2s. 2 is the divine feminine, is the priestess, and here we've got 3 of them, so it can make like a triangle of 3s if you think about it. 3 is a number that I need to bring in because we've got 3 2s, and 3 is the number of the blueprint, the design for life. It's a very sacred, very powerful number when you're manifesting or trying to create something new. We also have a 0 in the mix because 2022 we've got 2022. We mustn't forget that 0. 0 is a very important number. It's the number of the void, it's infinite possibility, it's the calm center at the eye of the storm. It's the zero that tells us we have the possibility to create something completely new for ourselves this year. We have a chance to have a completely new life that we design for ourselves this year, literally seemingly from nothing, something completely new. Something because we've got the number twos in there and the 22, it's a feminine energy, so it's kind of a feminine creation going on. It's creative, it's magical, perhaps organic, rather than being structured, sensible, traditional in the old kind of masculine energies of the age we're moving out of. So this is something completely new and innovative. And it feels like people will be looking for new and original ways to live their lives. So they want to be happy, they want to thrive, and they want to live in their own ways. And I think we all feel that. And it's quite visible right now with the number of people stepping away from the old sort of 9 to 5 work paradigm. People don't want to do that anymore. They had a taste of not having to do it, maybe on furlough or maybe being laid off. And suddenly people are like, I want a new way to live. I want a new way to do things, but we have to create it. So the year number for 2022 is 6, which I have mentioned in previous videos, because we've got 2022, so that makes 6. And this also adds the energy of the number 6 to the mix. So 6 is all about choice, it's about the heart, it's about our true desires, you know, what we really care about. It also asks us the question, will we open our hearts to change this year, or will we shut other people out? So that's going to be interesting to see. Now, 2 can be a very polarizing number, and it's a very influential number this year, as I have said a few times previously. This can be a very turbulent year. There's a lot of people who are on their spiritual path exploring extreme opinions, extreme ideas, going right to the edge of a subject, right to the polarity. And this can make for a lot of oppositions and arguments. And because number 2 is also a very emotional number, you can expect some people to fall out. Quite a lot of people to fall out and maybe fight more than usual. And there may be very little balance or compromise to be found, at least at first, while people are going through this phase. So when we take the 2 numbers together, so 1111 and 2022, okay, so 1111 reduces to 4, 2022 reduces to 6, then we get 4 and 6, we add those 2 together, and we get another number, we get 10. Okay, so 10 or 10-1 is the number of transformation. 10 also reduces to 1, but it's 1 with a 0. And it brings a fresh start. It's a very transformational number. It can be a number that represents upheaval, and sometimes the transformation isn't comfortable because it can be a case of spinning the wheel and seeing where it stops. But it's a fresh start. It's a new way of doing things. And we have the wisdom of numbers 0 to 9 before 10. So this isn't our first rodeo, and this tells us that, you know, as a species, this isn't our first go at redesigning our lives, at designing our lives. We're able to redesign the whole system of how we live on this earth, how we live on this planet, who's in charge or maybe who isn't. So that's very interesting, very compelling potential this year. So it is a very important time in our evolution where we must decide which road to take, and the choices we make this year will have consequences. Big consequences, long-term consequences, and I want you to bear that in mind. The energy of this year is so polarizing that those consequences could be fantastically wonderful or they could be hellishly bad. Okay, but the choice is ours at the end of the day, and not everyone's going to make the same choice, and not everyone's going to have the same life moving forwards. So when you see this number sequence, 1111 or 1111, this year, I want you to stop and notice what you were thinking about before you saw it, or when you saw it. What were you saying? What were you feeling? What were you just doing before those numbers showed up? And that will be a strong message about what your spirit guides or your angels actually have to say to you on that subject. Now, as a general rule, when it shows up, they're showing up to support you and agree with you and say, yes, you're on the right track. Here's the wisdom, you know, this is it. But it can also be a message to remind you not to be too harsh, too unkind, or to forget your humanity. It brings in a whole load of angelic compassion there, as well as wisdom. So we must all work to be compassionate, to be kind, to be genuinely understanding of others this year. And goodness knows most people don't even want to get on with other people who disagree with them right now, let alone trying to do it, you know, and people are so divided down so many different lines, and we really have to get beyond that. We have to get over ourselves and remember that we're all one. We must absolutely find a way to find common ground with others, and the Numerology of 1111 in 2022 is going to remind us how we can do that. It's going to help to guide us so we can learn to be more loving, more accepting of each other, to show loving kindness, to show compassionate to other people. And it's also there to remind us that we're all sovereign beings and we are all responsible for our own choices. So just remember, if you allow other people to make important decisions for you this year, you will essentially be abdicating your divine responsibility to yourself, okay? And that's not going to take you in a positive direction, okay? It might have done in past years, in past centuries, but right now, in this energy that we're in right now, you won't get away with it anymore. You have to step up to the plate and be your own master, be your own sovereign being. And 1111 will show up to try and guide you and show you which the right direction is. So take heed of those messages when it does. When it shows up, when 1111 shows up, pay attention. It's trying to show you the path. It is all about wisdom. It is all about spiritual growth. 1111 is always there to help. So look out for it. Okay. So thank you very much for watching the video. It's really lovely to see you again. I would really appreciate if you could take a moment out of your busy day to subscribe to the channel. Remember to leave me a like and leave me one of your lovely comments, and I will see you again soon.